Kennedy says we dismiss the value of memorization, that knowing something by heart can provide comfort and wisdom. She says if our circumstances change and things seem to be falling apart, we can recall a poem to offer reassurance. In her new book, Caroline Kennedy offers up more than 100 such poems she says are worth knowing. And the title of her new book is Poems to Learn by Heart. And Caroline Kennedy is here. Welcome, Caroline.
Thank you so much for having me.
On this momentous day.
I know.
We were already
especially.
scheduled, but what is your reaction to the departure of Mira Menino, not running for a sixth term?
Well, you know, he's been an amazing leader for the city and a good friend to all the members of our family, and my uncle especially. Oh, it was great to see them together. And so, you know, I think we'll all miss him, but I understand, and I hope that he has a wonderful next chapter.
Yeah, we do. We hope he does something really good and interesting, because he's so, you know, he's just so entrenched in this, and I know hopefully he'll turn a page and do something more fun. Or not more fun.
What's more fun? This is the most fun he could ever imagine,
and
I think he really projects that, which is great to see.
And so I want to talk about the book. I mean, I love that opening line because I thought that is so true about memorization. Now, when I was a kid, and also all through high school, there were certain things we had to memorize. Mine was Samuel Coleridge's The College Killer, the Rime of the Ancient Mariner.
Well, that's really
That's
long.
a tough one. That's like 40 stanzas.
That's really
so
long.
I had to do that one, but I thought, you know, oftentimes bits of that comes to my head. I don't know, you know, about the mist I whisked and all that stuff. It's just there.
Right.
But you know what else is interesting? All of us know millions and millions of songs. Why is it we can memorize songs so easily and not poems?
Well, I think because of the melody and the music, and that's one of the things about the old-fashioned poems that makes them easier to memorize than a lot of contemporary works, is that they rhyme and they have that rhythm that can kind of keep you going. So I think that's one of the reasons why I included so many sort of old chestnuts in this book, because they're meant to be memorized and settle out. I mean, before we had books or printed material or computers or phones or anything, I mean, people had to memorize to survive. I mean, they had to pass things down orally. And so a lot of those rhythms, you know, have developed because they're natural to us, and songs are that today. But, you know, music today is coming back to being words, and so it's really interesting because poetry is having a kind of a revival of relevance, if you will.
Well, now, who in your family did it? Did anybody pass it down to you?
Well, my mother did it. She memorized poems with her grandfather. And I think it's really, when I've talked about poetry, I've really found that it was something that families passed down. And a lot of people have memories of doing a poem or sharing a story or something with a grandparent or an aunt, and somebody older. And I think it's a wonderful thing for older family members to do with children. It's kind of a special thing that you can share. And my grandmother, who grew up in Concord, before there were cars, used to, you know, always have us try to recite the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere.
That's a good one.
And certainly is a good one. And, you know, Patriots Day is coming up. And, I mean, as far as we knew, you know, she was old enough to have, you know, met Paul Revere. And it was, the whole thing was just a wonderful thing. And, of course, the only person who actually knew the whole poem was Teddy. And he could not wait
or could he do it?
Recite this. I mean, it was one of his favorite things.
Right off the bat, could he do it, or did he have to think?
No, he just launched right in, and if there were things along the way that weren't quite right, that just didn't matter. He just kept going, and so he used to show up at my book signings and offer to recite the poem for people waiting online, because he just loved it. But I think it really gave us all, as children, you know, having him and my grandmother, kind of all encouraging that, and then he took us to visit the old North Church and all of that in Concord, but a sense that, you know, we wanted to be like that. We could maybe change, you know, history or change something in our lives. And so it really, these values come along with it.
Well, how did you decide? I mean, you've got such a vast range of poems by people we know, Robert Frost, you know, William Shakespeare, Langston Hughes, and people like that, but there's a lot of that we don't.
Right. Well, I wanted it to have some contemporary poets in it also, and I got some kids that I work with in a high school in the Bronx to help me decide, and as well, and see what kids would like. And I went back to the poems that my brother and I had memorized for our mother, and I asked friends and kids' friends, and so I got suggestions from people of all ages. And as I said, some of these younger poets who are performing now in open mic events and poetry slams, and, you know, bilingual poetry and composing poetry in groups, which is also a new and interesting thing.
I never thought of The Charge of the Light Brigade as an anti-war poem until you said that. And then I started thinking about the words in it. I said, yeah, sure it is.
Right, I know. I didn't really either at first, because it sort of rolls along with all this
it's very
cavalry.
exciting.
Yeah, exactly. And then you realize that this is just the most misguided thing.
Yeah, it was
so sad.
Yeah. So was there a little bit of a political statement in that one?
Well, I thought it was important to include poems on war and battle. I mean, we are fighting 2 wars, or we are pulling out, but we were when I was doing this book. And I think kids are really anxious about it. And it's certainly one of the, most noble, most sad, most heroic activities that humans do. And there are some of the great poems of all time are about it. So I have the Gettysburg Address, I have that. I have some that are more sort of rousing, and then others that are more questioning.
So as you know, the Kennedy Library has been releasing these photographs every couple of months, just sort of marking the anniversary of the inauguration of your dad. So yesterday, the cutest pictures came out. I know, you saw them, and here they are. Here's the first couple of them. It's you and your pony. I believe that's Macaroni.
Yes, it is.
There's little John.
That's a very special fancy saddle that the King of Morocco gave me.
And that's at Camp David. So this weekend is the 50th anniversary of one of your trips to Camp David. That's a Moroccan saddle. Wow, it looks
Well, look at it. Does that pony look like he belongs in that outfit? I mean,
like, do you have a memory of that?
Oh, yeah. That was a very exciting saddle, and it was all gold.
Yeah.
And,
what happened to it?
Yeah, I know. I wish I knew. I don't know.
There's a couple more. There's one in Marine One, is it? Here's your brother in Marine One.
Cute.
Sitting in the helicopter.
So cute.
There's one of you in there. There he is at the controls.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. And there you are.
No, that's him.
Oh, that's
Why
him
are you looking at the hair?
Like a dress there. There you are.
Like a dress? That's nice.
Sorry.
Too better.
Hey, John, there he is. Do you actually remember sitting in the helicopter?
I guess I remember sitting in the back. I don't remember sitting at the controls.
Yeah, there was one of you, but it didn't come out as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, what can I say?
I mean, you've obviously seen all these pictures. They're family photographs, but they've been in the control of the government. So, I mean, do you like the fact that they're coming out like this? Has that been a good thing for you guys?
Well, I'm all for access to our government and making history available. So the fact that I might not look good in a certain picture or something, luckily I was okay looking.
I think you look pretty cute,
so it's fine. But I tried to. I mean, it's not a big. I've seen it a bunch of times. So
but we haven't.
Yeah, I know. So it's really nice that people are interested, and it's a lot of happy family memories for me. So it's. It's
all right. Thank you so much, Caroline Kennedy, and we really enjoyed your book.
Casey at the Bat is in there, and I threw out the first pitch last year with Mayor Menino.
I remember. That was so impressive.
I know.
Did you throw like a girl, or did you?
No, I practiced for 3 weeks.
I would too. All right. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
All right. That is it for Greater Boston. Tomorrow, it's Beat the Press. Tom Menino's decision to run or not was the hottest scoop in months. So how did an unemployed reporter beat everyone to the punch? And should newspapers identify minors for misdeeds that fall short of a crime? We'll have that, and plus our panel rants and raves of the week. That's tomorrow at 7 on Beat the Press. I'm Emily Rooney. Thanks for watching.